You know, if you're going to get the nation's attention about marriage, would there be one time of the year that you would think you would want to do that? Anybody want to guess when that is? Come on, ladies, when is it? Valentine's. That's it. You know, the Valentine's. So we're talking about National Marriage Week. That's what we're talking about, which actually has gone global. And we're excited to have Sheila Weber with us today, Executive Director of the National Marriage Week Initiative. So Sheila, you come and tell us all about it, and we want to get engaged.
Thank you so much. National Marriage Week USA runs from February 7th to the 14th, the week leading up to Valentine's Day. And we add the USA on the end because we're so thrilled that this is a global movement. In fact, 12 years ago, Marriage Week started in the UK. It's now grown to 12 countries, Germany, Ireland, Australia, Czech Republic, and soon to become 20 countries around the world. And we're a licensed member of Marriage Week International. The goals of Marriage Week are to elevate marriage as a national issue, particularly through the media and news stories. Secondly, to spur more marriage education opportunities and ways for people to get help with their marriage. And thirdly, to promote the benefits of marriage, because all the research is clear that marriage brings greater financial stability. It greatly leads to longer life and better health. The results show children do far better. That's the biggest issue that we're dealing with, is that children have less teen pregnancy and less prison, less addiction issues, and they perform far better in school. And basically the research shows that married people are happier. It just leads to greater personal happiness. But I want to share just a personal story of why I know that the church is the school for marriage, and why, if the church will focus on marriage, it can grow. And this is a personal story. I have a sister-in-law who years ago was very hostile to the issue of faith. But about 10 years ago, one of her friends invited her and my brother-in-law to a one-night presentation at a local church on how to have a better marriage. So she went, and she tells me now, she says, "Oh my gosh, I'm sitting there poking my husband every other sentence that this guy has coming out of his mouth on that relates to us. Oh my gosh, that's us, that's us." Well, the long and short of it is she has been a very committed member of that local church for the last 10 years. And so that church met a very deep need in her life. They weren't having tremendous stresses, but they certainly wanted to learn how to have a better marriage. And that church met her need, and she came back, and she has grown in her faith and has become a student of the Bible. And it's remarkable to see the transformation in one of my relatives' life. So I'm here to tell you this is worth it for the local church. We've only been happening for 2 years. So the first year, the first thing we did was we built an architecture of a website that's very interactive. And there's a reason that's important, because we've been posting hundreds of events all around the country during the week leading up to Valentine's Day. And we'll just show a little screenshot of this website, because I just want people to know that we have loads of research, the latest research. We have a very specific area that's helpful for the church. So we have resources for the church. And in our first year, we had a pastors and leaders webinar with Chuck Colson. Samra Accessed. It's a 45-minute instructional tool. We had 1,200 leaders register and listen in, which we were very happy with for our very first year. So you have other areas where tools you can use, very creative tools. It's been mentioned about a great date night. We have an idea for a Valentine's great date night. We list as many of the wonderful marriage curricula as we can in different categories. Some, obviously, you have large conferences that can be brought into your local community. Others are just workbooks. Others are DVDs with discussion guides. They're all listed as resources, and we just want people to know about it. But one of our big goals is to focus on the media, because we need to spin a new story on marriage. And it was referenced about last fall, had a Time magazine cover story, which really was asking the question, is marriage obsolete? To which we say a resounding no. What's obsolete about financial stability, better health, happier children? So, but the problem with that story, we didn't originate that story, we didn't launch it, but nobody had been consulted in the marriage movement, and that story did not tell all the hundreds of thousands of things that happen all the time in this country. So the story created a real downside attitude in this country rather than telling the things where people can go and get the help they need. There was really no reference in that story to where people can get the help they need, and that's one of the goals of National Marriage Week. So just to reemphasize that particular aspect, in 2010 we launched a major radio campaign, and we were on 5 major radio networks and had an awful lot of attention that way. One of our colleagues at the Institute of American Values got a commentary printed in the Wall Street Journal that week. We had a Fox News strategy room, a whole hour show on a Fox News strategy room hosted by the religion reporter Lauren Green, and our chairman Chuck Stetson was on that. And then this year, in 2011, we also, again, kept striving for media attention. And so we were featured on CBS Sunday Morning. We were on CBN, a live interview down in Virginia Beach with Pat Robertson. I was on about 30 radio programs in 3 days, many of whom had network shows of 400 to 600 stations. Again, we were the featured ministry partner on K11 Air 1, which has 4 million audience. Well, we were very pleased that we branched out and we engaged the U.S. Catholic Council of Bishops, which we're very happy that they started to see how significant this is, and they encouraged their churches to participate in National Marriage Week. And I'll get into how you do that. And we also had governors issue proclamations. We have mayors issuing proclamations. And the very first time that we were posted in the U.S. government and public policy circles in the media. And one of the largest efforts we put out this year is a national newspaper ad. And I think we can you know what, I'm going to talk about this first, which is showing you that when you host a marriage event, we have this listing. Now we can scroll down. There will be hundreds and hundreds of listings this year. And we'll go to the next screen to show you how easy it is. If you have an event, it's simply your city and the name of the event, your URL. We don't publish your name and email. And it's just a very easy reference so that if you have a friend in Texas, they can hit the state and they're going to see everything that's happening during National Marriage Week. Which leads me to why we put out our ad. We do have a screenshot of that, and it was actually a little larger than this, but it was posted in the Wall Street Journal Sunday during National Marriage Week, and it went to 43 regional national papers, which had an audience of 6.5 million. I'm just going to read a little bit of this because it starts with a quote from Dietrich Bonhoeffer. He was writing to a young married couple from his prison cell. It's not love that keeps your marriage alive. It's marriage that keeps your love alive. And which is really a big message of the church, that it is the covenant. It is the commitment to marriage that will eventually make you work at this. Individuals have more wealth and financial stability. Personally, married folks have more happiness, lifelong thriving love, longer lives and better health, and children with both parents at home do vastly better in school and have far less trouble with the law, teen pregnancy, and addiction. And then we can do better. It's been referenced already that taxpayers are spending at least $112 billion a year. Some estimates go much, much higher than that. We have 40% of all American babies are born out of wedlock, and as our friend Dr. Linda Malone-Kalan said, 72% of African American babies now born out of wedlock. We're in a crisis, and as the nation is focusing on the economy, this is another message for the church. We are concerned about overspending, and we're concerned about our deficit. So another message for marriage is that married people have better personal financial stability, and we have more national fiscal stability because the breakdown of family is costing us as a nation. This is the economic cornerstone of our culture and our country. And again, that is one of the messages that we want to make sure gets out during National Marriage Week. Ways you can participate. Well, the easiest is simply launch a marriage class, and there's so many of them. So bring in a special speaker or simply have a DVD series and start the class and use the workbook that comes alongside it. It can be in a home group. It can be a Sunday school class. Or you can do something really much more extensive and offer a marriage class at your local library or community center. I just can't imagine how many people you could potentially reach if you wanted to go outside the church doors and really meet people's very true needs or relational needs. And so the very simplest steps we can think of are to host an event and post it. We say host it and post it. So please put it on our website because we want to generate attention for what you're doing. And we don't want just hundreds of events, and this is only our second year, but we want thousands of events. And when we have thousands of events, that's called impact. And when we have impact, I can get the media to pay attention. So if you can help me post thousands of events, we will get some media attention. I would love to turn the story from the cover of Time magazine, which, by the way, I have worked on other cover stories for Time. I would love to turn that story from, kind of is marriage dead to marriage is back. Or at the very least, people are recovering their marriages and here's why and how. So it really does take us all working together. Now, the great thing about 1 week a year is that it's very simple to do this. I know you all have so much going on the other 51 weeks a year. We really can make a huge dent in recasting the nation's vision for marriage and reshaping the cultural story. So in addition to hosting an event and posting it, and it can be very small, it could be a home group, we also are encouraging people to use our PSAs. We have little public service announcements. You might have a website you can put it on. You might have just a local radio station you're friendly with. We're going to make this ad available next year with this bottom section as open so that somebody can promote their local event in this corner. And yet you'll still have the message of why strengthening marriage is so critical.
Hey, welcome back. You're watching Love is Here live, and we are live today doing this great simulcast up in Orlando, Florida at Mission America. And I'm joined today with Sheila Weber from the National Marriage Week. And Sheila just made a presentation in our other room and really defined what's happening across the country with marriage and what's happening with this campaign. So Sheila, share with us a little bit about some practical next steps for people if they want to get engaged specifically in the National Marriage Week. What are some things that a person can do?
Well, right now they could form a committee.
What does that look like, a committee?
Just you could have a group of friends that says we want to do something either locally in our community or just in a local church. And you can bring a conference speaker in, and there are many of them we've listed on our website to contact them, or use a DVD series or start a home group during National Marriage Week. Those are the simplest things to provide access for people to strengthen their marriage and then find ways to promote it in the community.
Sure. Now, for our listeners, give me some examples of maybe some, when you talk about some of the events and different things that might be happening locally, what are some easy wins that you're finding like across the country when people want to do something for marriage, like a community event or something?
Well, I know that there are some new DVD programs and movies out there. So we've mentioned Family Life has one, or The Art of Marriage. And so it's a Friday night and a Saturday. There's Love and Respect has a Friday night and a Saturday morning DVD series. Those are easy because people don't have to go away to a retreat. They can still stay at home and manage their home life for the weekend.
Oh, that's amazing. So how many folks right now are currently using the National Marriage Week, like folks that are like posting things or participating, like this past year? Share with us that.
Well,
again.
This was only our second year, so we had more than a few hundred people who posted local events, which was great. But in addition to that, we're very encouraged because The Art of Marriage actually had hundreds and hundreds of others, which did not get posted, but we certainly highlighted the fact that they were there and they were happening, as well as Love and Respect had a significant number. So we probably had more than 1,000 activities across the country.
Right.
But we'd love to get them all individually posted there because, as I said, the more impact we can show, the better. And I forgot to mention that we use the week to release new research and some new efforts. There's some public policy efforts in the works and a larger event planned for next year. And I can't say too much yet, but if you lend us your email.
Top secret.
No, but it will be worth knowing about.
Sure.
And so.
That's great. Now, National Marriage Week is kind of taking space now in the real state of really helping promote not only all things marriage, but things that are coming that are going to impact different communities in different ways. And so I think some of the things that we've heard already is, be thinking creatively even a year out how you want to, it's highlighting things that, might get attention nationally and might just get attention locally. And oftentimes, if you think about it, there's only a couple leveraging points throughout a year where we get the shot in the arm. If you're a pastor, it might be a great time to just do some kind of a series or an event. I know for our church, one of the things that we did was we actually launched The Art of Marriage, and then which was the same part of National Marriage Week, and then at the Art of Marriage event, we actually leveraged 6 new classes that began right after, and they were all filled. So,
and your church grew.
And our church, we're going to talk about that a little later,
yeah.
but it's just crazy how if you could use these leveraging points strategically and maybe even get some of the firepower that the National Marriage Week branding can create, which would be good.
Right.
And I know for Love is Here and you guys being attached to what the whole movement is doing, it's going to begin to build steam and really become an effective way to promote, advertise, and leverage not only champions, but the crowd for folks who are looking for hope and help.
Absolutely, and I love what's happened in Germany, that they started with 100 cities. Now they're to 300 cities and 17,000 people participated.
Wow.
Granted, it's a smaller country, but this is the vision of what we can accomplish if we all join forces. It's kind of like if you all shout at the same time and make a louder noise. So
that's great.
That's the vision.
So how many other countries are also doing stuff that you're aware of?
Right now there are 12, and it's going up to about 20 very soon.
Wow.
They're increasing. So it's going to be a global movement. And I remember Earth Day years and years ago started, and they used the mainline Protestant churches actually to launch. And no matter whether you like Earth Day or not, the point is organizationally, they have now 1 billion activities a year on April 22nd. 1 billion around the globe in 175 countries.
That's great.
So,
well, we need to kind of come up with a color that matches what we're doing.
Okay.
Yeah, we got green for Earth Day, right?
Yeah.
So
okay.
maybe it's red or something. So.
Yeah, and what was so interesting about the research that we helped put forth, which was from the National Marriage Project at the University of Virginia, is that they were looking at how the economy is affecting marriage. The report was the Great Recession in Marriage, and it turns out that of those who were going to divorce or separate, 39% of them said that they changed their mind. And I thought, you know what, that's okay, that's appropriate, and it's a good thing because it means that people, in years ago, the marriage was an economic unit, and you had to pull together to keep life and limb together. We might be getting back to that. I hope that people will see it as an opportunity for healing and personal growth, and it will certainly be better for children. Children are really harmed by the breakdown of marriage, and for our culture and our children, because, as I said, the prison population is reflective of people who did not grow up with both a mother and a father. Yeah. And also, there's another research study that showed girls whose fathers leave before age of 6 have a 35% chance of teen pregnancy, as opposed to 5% in the general population.
Well, the stats are alarming, and I remember one stat, and we're going to conclude here in just a second, but one stat that was interesting was, and I remember hearing, this was years ago, the president said when he was addressing a group of folks who were marriage advocates across the country, he said that there's 2 statistics that are alarmingly telling of where we are as a society and in our economy. Said the greatest statistic for that, the health of a nation, is the first one at 52% was like employment, or 46%, something like that. But the second greatest stat were healthy marriages at like 22, 24%. And so if you think about it, those are the two leading indicators of where we are as a society and an economy. And so if we can do our part, Sheila, and this is what I hear you saying, is everybody do their part. Jump in, become part of the solution. Let's create some real-time results for this country and others.
It's not that hard to create a marriage class and start one during that week and launch it.
ORG, and they can get all the information they need.
Absolutely. Just, it's very easy. Just let us know the event you're having, and then other people can find out about it too.
Sounds good. Well, thank you again. Again, we're here with Sheila Weber from the National Marriage Week USA, and we're excited that you joined us today, and great information and great ways to get involved.